Busia LC5 election. Who will support who, which parties will fund which candidates, and so now it's clear, especially when it comes to opposition, the opposition. We saw FDC saying that, you know what, we are not so sure, this was last week, we're not so sure who we are going to support, but now on Monday they made it clear that they are going to rally behind DP's candidate, and this is Mr. Deogracius Njoki. Of course, it's not the first time they're supporting him, and so to break that down and what this will mean for the opposition and the Busia LC5 particular contesting a very hot race is Mr. Dr. Kakungulu Mayambala, political analyst and also a professor of law in studios. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about this, and of course they are not so sure. They're saying, okay, fine, and I will just quote what they had to say is that we have a long relationship with DO and we shall not field the candidate despite having strong leaders in Busia. Now FDC says that, okay, it's all right, we've made a decision, this was on Monday, we're going to rally behind DP's candidate, as much as we also have as FDC very strong leaders. Is there a statement that you're not reading into with regards to this particular move?
Then that particular move is based on a number of factors. First of all, the opposition, like we all know, it is mainly their support is based on parties, but also the strength of particular candidates. So where the party realizes that they don't have an opposition party realizes that they don't have a strong candidate, then they are better off leaving the candidate who has a better chance, but opposition leaning or coming from an opposition party, so that they have support. And when you look at this particular issue, the DP has supported FDC candidates in Shema, in the rural and in the municipality. So where there is an opportunity for them to support DP, they will also do. And of course, for FDC, they are coming from like 3 to 6 consecutive losses. So they don't want to go into another loss where they know clearly their candidate has no chance. And if they have a relationship with the DP candidate, I think that was the logical thing to do.
Yeah. And it's actually not the first time, because even in 2015, we saw FDC and many other opposition parties rallying behind the same candidate. It's not the first time that Mr. Deogracius Njoki is actually vying for that particular seat. Now, in 2015, he actually lost, and he only was able to garner 21,844 votes. And the person who took the seat then was NRM's Stephen Odundo, who actually garnered 31,443 votes. And the issue also still in there was the conversation about low voter turnout. The issue of voters and the EC has been a question that the opposition has always raised. Now, with regards to this time round, do you feel like the voter turnout will be higher? Because in 2015, a total of 145,423 registered to actually vote, but of course, for the numbers, given the numbers of of what each garnered, it shows that there was a lower voter turnout. But this time round, if voters are to come out in big numbers, what should all the political parties do?
In order for the voters to turn out in big numbers, it will depend on the stakes. One, if the parties, both sides, the NRM and the opposition, if they can mobilize the voters and show that this is really something which is very serious in which the voters should participate, they will be able to turn up. And of course, if there is no intimidation, because if there is intimidation, some of the supporters may not turn up on the voting day, as was the case in Arua and other places. So it is mainly about mobilizing and letting the people know that this is a very important by-election in which they should participate. Otherwise, short of that, then the turn-up will be low.
Right. Yeah. And we actually have the EC chairperson, Justice Simon Biabakama, who actually alluded to the same, just preaching peace. Let's take a look. Okay, we'll be getting the bite in a few seconds. Now, of course, still the opposition is raising issues to do with the Electoral Commission. And I will just quote what DP actually said. And this was during a press conference this week on Monday. And they said that we have already petitioned the Electoral Commission demanding the withdrawal of the District Registrar, Mr. Sam Agaba, on allegations of conniving with NRM in 2015 to announce Mr. Ouma as the LC5 chairperson. Do you think that every time the opposition raises issues to do with the EC, do you feel that they have genuine grounds on just questioning the integrity of the EC? Remember, in 2015, the EC was actually being led by a totally different person. Now, Justice Biabakama has also come on board. Of course, we've seen quite a number of changes. But do you feel it's a tactic the opposition uses to just discredit the EC, or they actually have genuine grounds to front these issues?
Yeah, sometimes they have genuine grounds, because a similar issue arose in Jinja, and the EC registrar was transferred, and in other places. So they could, I think, have raised it earlier, because if the process has already started, they are already organizing. It may be late, but it is valid that maybe these EC officials, the registrars for the district, are transferred periodically. Because if somebody was involved in this election and there was a by-election and the Electoral Commission was somehow blamed, then it would be good that another person is brought.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we do have the president, the DP president on record, Mr. Norbert Mao. Of course, this is in 2015, and he came out strongly to actually say that this time around we're not so confident about the EC. Let's take a look at that before we move on. Okay, we'll be getting those bites in a few seconds. Of course, they're very important when it comes to this particular discussion, because actually getting that point of reflection then gives us a clear picture on what we should be expecting come the 28th of November. We are actually counting down to those particular polls. Now, moving forward, do you feel like Mr. Deogracia's Njoki stands a chance of clinching victory come the 20th of November? Especially now that the opposition, FDC to be precise, that has come out clearly to say that, you know what, you're going to support him. Do you feel like that will boost his chances of clinching victory?
Yeah, it may, if for example, the entire opposition rallies behind him, the People Power, the FDC, the DP, the fact that he didn't lose, he lost by maybe 6,000 votes. If they can get these voters who didn't participate in the previous election to come and participate, then his chances can be really high. Yeah. Very high. Yeah.
I'm sure you followed the politics of Busia. What type of politics the people of Busia gravitate towards? Is it issue-based kind of politics, or it's a totally different politics? Or in your view, what do the people of Busia want?
I think the most important thing for the people of Busia, especially the youth, would be trying to make sure that they vote for a candidate, because the district chairperson is very important. They vote for a candidate who can make their life better. Remember, these are border people, they are involved in trade and a lot of activities going on. So they want a candidate who can cause change within their lives, and that's what they will be going for. Maybe a candidate who will bring more government projects and solve the youth unemployment challenge in the country. Yes.
Okay, because one would argue that Busia has for a very long time arguably been an NRM stronghold.
Yes.
So with that in mind, so what are the chances of the opposition still clinching this? Of course, now that we know that the opposition is very keen on defiant kind of politics for them, and that has been evolving time and again, and them saying that it's not just defiant campaigning, defiant politics, but also issue-based politics. So with Busia having a background, a strong background of being an NRM stronghold, what are the chances there?
The issues which matter as of now would be issue of the economy and political survival, especially this being a border district, how people are able to do their business. So in that, if they realize that the NRM has offered more stability, they can have a chance. But if they realize that the opposition candidate is bringing more hope and promise to the district, then he too stands a chance. So all of them have chances, but how they study the electorate and how the electorate responds is what they need to do.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. With regards to this, and you can actually see the pictures, and this was a few weeks back when there was that particular meeting between the EC and the different kind of parties. And I remember even NRM still had issues with putting its house together, and there were issues, two political parties, two political candidates wanted to actually vie for the same seat, and so that has been sorted out. Mr. Paulo Gutu is the person, the flag bearer of the NRM party. What are the chances of Mr. Paulo Gutu? Of course, now that we've seen Mr. Stephen Oundo, who actually had a lot of support in that particular region, what are his chances for clinching this as well?
Well, the NRM candidate ordinarily has a better chance because in the three constituencies which make up Busia district, that's Samabugwe North and South, and then the municipality, they are all represented by NRM candidates. So ordinarily the NRM has that base in terms of support. So the issue now is that the opposition, can they rally this support from what they had in 2016, 2015, and be able to dislodge the NRM from the district chairperson seat. So that's the key issue, that they are able to mobilize if they can. Yes, otherwise the NRM would ordinarily be in some sort of clear lead.
Okay, in a clear lead, you say?
Yeah.
Wow. Because it's going to be a hotly contested seat. Of course, we've been seeing these events coming through, and FDC actually being very active with regards to, making sure that they have a strong base in the grassroots. Of course, now the other week, when was it? And we were supposed to be joined by Madam Sarah Peru, the Women's League, FDC Women's League spokesperson. She was part of the 5 FDC leaders who are actually summoned by police in Ngora district just a few days ago. Now, of course, the type of politics and the type of campaigns, the style of campaigning is what the police was actually questioning, because case in study with the Ngora district campaigning that they undertook over the weekend, they were being summoned because they went with the message of the president must go, Mr. Museveni must go, and actually they were handing out t-shirts, red t-shirts, and the police were against it. So in terms of them just coining a message that will actually gravitate with the local person in the grassroots, what should they do? And also for them coining a message that will not get them into trouble, what should they do, and what message should they be preaching pro?
Well, in the context of Busia, they have some messages which they can do. One is they can look at the NRM's broken promises, pledges, one of which was tarmacking the Star Lumino Busia Road, which has not yet been tarmacked. So they can use the broken promises or yet to be fulfilled promises. Then they can look at the last year's activities, lifting of the age limit, which most of the people were against. And then, more importantly, they must resonate with the youth on the issue of youth unemployment and how what solution is they intend to offer, because already the NRM has been holding this seat. So what they can do or what they can promise is not far from what they've been doing. So for them, they can come with a message which is slightly more convincing, and they can even make it really look so nice to the voters, such that they can get this vote. So they have to come with concrete messages, especially they should cluster their voters, the youth, the elderly, the middle age, what are their wishes. Then they get a message which cuts across all these segments.
Okay, all right. We'll be taking a short commercial break because I understand Madam Sarah Eperu is with us. So let's take that quick break and then we'll be back. Keep it here.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Amanya gange Zembiru Muhammad ngantambulira mu baasi ndi musaabaze naye ozisere bisinga baddereeva tugenda ne tubeera nga tubaliko tubanenya tukola tutya naye ddala mu butuufu naffe abatambula abasala enguudo lumu twali tugenda saidi ze Kabaale omusaabaze omutambuze n'ava eri tambuze be yava eri yajja Buzi kusala luguudo beva nga yatadduka nnyo n'alwanagana naye wadde tiyamuwonya naye nga twalabirira nga omusajja atawanye n'emmotoka amusaze naye bwagaana kati tusaba n'olwekyo abantu abatambulira ku nguudo tweddeko obulamu tebugulwa.
This message was brought to you by Viva Energy and NTV Uganda. It's not just music, it's the joy we find in the melodies of our favorite songs.
Let's not this song, yeah. Dimani, it's your favorite song. Get wine to the rap King Kong.
To the rest of the world. It's not just movies, it's a chance to experience worlds beyond our imagination. It's not just sports. It's being part of something bigger than ourselves. It's programming that provokes, entertains, and inspires us to dream bigger. It's NTV. It's TV that moves you.
Although they say that the lion is the king of the jungle, the people who deal in the timber have realized they are the masters of the jungle. This is because they detected us about 50 meters away.
It's not just news. It's stories that touch hearts, sharpen opinions, and start conversation.
NTV, turning on your world.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at NTV. We took a short commercial break so that Ms. Sarah Eperu, the spokesperson of the FDC Women's League, can join us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very sorry I came in very late. I came back from Ngora quite late yesterday because I had been summoned by the police to go and report an answer for the 7 Must Go campaign.
Yes.
I was supposed to have slept in, but fortunately they thought otherwise because they didn't have any reason to put me in. But I'm sorry, next time I'll come quite early.
Okay, let's still stick to that. Of course, your campaign in Ngora. Did it have to be that? Did it have to be that confrontational? The campaign with the slogan, Museveni must go. Of course, case in study, keeping it in line with the upcoming Busia LC5 elections in a nutshell.
No, it's crazy about what the police is doing. Unfortunately, the NRM is using the police, the GISOs and the RDCs are trying to use the police to intimidate us. We launched the Museveni Must Go campaign in Ngora on the 26th of last month. It was a very peaceful function. We launched, we gave out t-shirts.
Red t-shirts
labeled Museveni Must Go, and then enough is enough. As simple as that. But I think we took these guys unawares. You know, each time we inform the police about our political meetings, they come out and torture us. So in Ngora, we have chosen to be clandestine. We move in our own way. So by the time they woke up, the campaign was heating up, and it's a hot cake all over Ngora.
You're actually being accused of, you know, engaging in inciting politics, and that's why they summoned you.
That guy is crazy. The DPC. I was with him on yesterday, but one, and was insisting that we're inciting. Now we told him, 1, the function was in the hall. 2, there was no riot, there was no fracas at all. He says he's on instruction that that word Museveni must go should not appear anywhere in Ngora, which is extremely unfortunate.
Did you have to use specific names?
Pardon?
Did you have to use the name Mr. Museveni, His Excellency?
By the way, the guy is crazy, because we say M7, okay, must go. So I asked him, when did M7 become 7?
But he clearly
answered me. He clearly answered me. So I told him,
yes,
I'm waiting for an arrest from him. I'll take him to court and sue him. Never has M7 been Museveni. If he can prove that, then maybe I'll plead guilty. But he has no grounds whatsoever. Now, I also explained to him that FDC is a party, a political party, whose duty is to organize continuously and mobilize. And our end goal is to go to power. So how shall we go to power when Museveni is still there? So our first campaign is Museveni must go, so that we get to power.
Are we likely to see the same kind of defiant campaigns in the LC5 Busia elections? Of course, it's going to be on the 20th, but the campaigns. Is that the same message you're going to be coining?
The crowd is extremely hostile to NRM. People are extremely bitter of the kind of environment we are in, the poverty. I don't have a lot of time to highlight all of those things. The poverty, the lack of jobs, the healthcare is poor, the education is poor. As I was coming, I was listening on the radio. Some kids didn't do their exams because the money that they paid for the exams fee was eaten. So those kinds of things make people extremely very bitter on the ground. We are going to bank on that. I'm very happy I came when you're speaking about us lying with DP. Like I said last time when I was here, as we have already said, we must work with our opposition partners, and we did that in Busia in the last election. We did not put any candidate against Njoki. He was our candidate, and we supported him as FDC. And this time around, we are saying, well, we supported him last time. He was our candidate. He has gone to court and petitioned the election. If he has won the petition, why should we again challenge him? But that doesn't mean that we don't have people who are formidable, who are strong enough, who could contest that seat.
Professor,
so far we have 4 people. Yes. We should have gone through a primary. But because you are saying, let's stick to this. Let's stick to our unity, and that's the only way we can floor the NRM in Busia.
Okay. Professor, I need you to actually repeat what you actually said in terms of FDC and the opposition coining the message so they don't get into friction with the government, and also they manage to entice and to woo the voters. How exactly should they be coining these particular messages, and what should they not miss out on?
Yeah, like I observed before Sarah came, the opposition needs to come up with a message because the population is watching and they know what's happening. I talked about the unfulfilled pledges, promises which the NRM has made, and these ones nobody will hold you accountable because they promised the roads, they promised good schools and infrastructure. These are not there clearly, they are not there, so they can talk about that. The other issue is of course the lack of commitment on the side of the NRM to keep a promise. They keep on changing. The latest change they had was the age limit issue, so that they can get that, and where there was misrepresentation of the people's views in parliament. The other one is the livelihood of our people, especially the youth who are the majority of the voters. In Busia, this was meant to be a trade-based district, but no actual trade is going on.
Okay.
So they can use those messages, and then the NRM will be put on the defensive because these are facts they will have nothing to.
Right.
Unfortunately, issue-based campaigns, really, issue-based campaigns don't work in Uganda. What you're going to see at the end of the day, they're going to push in money, they'll bribe them east, west, and center. Like I said, the business community is not doing well, so they are poverty-stricken.
So the solution is defiant campaigns?
Pardon?
So the solution is to have defiant campaigns, that's what you're saying?
It's a mixture. Our approach is multi-pronged. We are going to take the message like he has suggested, but you must also use defiance.
Okay.
That's not something we are going to let go of very soon.
All right. So in the coming days, as we count down to the LC5 elections in Busia, that's your direction. That's the strategy FDC is taking up on.
Oh yes, we are going to put the issues there. But defiance. I know the other side is going to bring money and no issues. Of course, they're going to tell a lot of lies. And you know, once you are not likable, you have to use the money.
Do you have evidence to that?
Oh yes, a lot of evidence. I wish I had time.
I wish you actually had time. Keep your views coming. The hashtag is Morning at NTV. You can also stream us live and drop in your comments. NTV Uganda, that's on Facebook and YouTube pages. We need to have this conversation because we're still counting down to the 28th of November. LC5. Next time, please come on time.
Oh, I will.
Okay, that has been it. Thank you so much, Dr. Kakungulu Mayambala, for coming in studios. Miss Sarah Perry, the spokesperson of the FDC Women's League. That has been it for Solution segment. For Kickstarter segment, I got you there. Keep it Morning at NTV.
You're watching Morning at NTV.